Hello, everyone, and welcome to our Businessmap podcast and interview series where we bring management professionals from all over the world and give them a platform to share their unique experiences from managing business transformation, integrating new ways of working, aligning strategy with execution, and many more. In today's episode, we have Charity Mudzongo from South Africa with us, who led a lean transformation in a global company such as DHL. We cover everything from why the transformation started in the first place, why getting buy-in from leadership is crucial, and what are some lean tools that they used to manage this entire process. Without further ado, let's get straight into the episode. Hi Charity, how are you? It's
I'm fine, Nicolai. How are you?
Perfect. I'm good. Good. It's such a great pleasure to have you here on our interview slash podcast format. First of all, for our audience who don't know you, would you like to introduce yourself very quickly about your experience in lean transformations, and specifically what you're focused on right now?
Sure. So my name is Charity Mudzongo. I'm founder and director of Sigma Consulting Solutions based here in Johannesburg, South Africa. I have been working with Lean Six Sigma for the past 15 years. I trained as a green belt initially. I went through to train also as a black belt. And my passion is about people, about building high performance, process improvement. And thank you for having me on this call today.
My pleasure. Right. So we talked a little bit about this in the background, but you led a huge lean transformation in DHL. So I think it will be very interesting for me also, but for our audience mainly, to learn more about this transformation. And if we could start from the business context. So, how did the transformation start in the beginning, and what were the maybe initial challenges that you faced and that you saw in the company, and you decided that uh, there was a need for such a large scale transformation?
Okay. All right. So this was back in, I would say, 2009. And in the organization I was working for, it was a corporate organization, global, present in over 200 countries. And they had rolled out a number of KPIs, key performance indicators, in which case this was globally, South Africa was included. Being responsible for South Africa, we had to ensure that these KPIs are met. At the time, this was not happening. It was a new thing for the team members, for the organization. And I was promoted to that position of a station improvement manager to handle the management of key performance indicators and ensure that the organization comes to the party in terms of performing. So some of the challenges that I faced or we faced as an organization was the mindset.
Mm.
We had team members and individuals who would say, for example, I've been doing this, for the past 10 years and I was not being measured. And if I was being measured as an example, the metric was different and it was not that important. So the mindset was number one. The second thing that we faced as an issue was the issue of team members and individuals not knowing the KPIs themselves, not understanding why they are present and why they are there, and not knowing how to improve them also. So that was a big change, a big cultural change in that way. Another issue that we faced was we had leaders, managers that also did not believe in the transformation. And as we'll discuss further, you'll note that it is critical that leadership is at the forefront of leading change. And so this was a big change. So those are some of the issues that we faced. We could sit here the whole day, but
Yeah.
I could go on. But it's things that we had to address at the time.
Right. And was there anything related to efficiency improvements? Because I guess a lot of people who embark on these large scale lean transformations, they are especially interested in, I would say, cost cutting, efficiency improvements, and maybe doing more with what we currently have. So, was there something like this going on in your environment?
Yes, 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 definitely. So we had issues of waste
Hmm.
and issues of efficiency not being present, things not happening in the set time. An example would be a shipment will be delivered within 24 hours from customs clearance, as an example. And this would not happen within the 24-hour set. Oftentimes, it would be days after, 2 days, 3 days, sometimes even a week after. Another
Mm.
example would be invoice will be raised, within a certain time frame. And this was not happening. So that was an issue of efficiency. We had issues of invoice accuracy, where oftentimes a credit note had to be raised or a supplementary invoice had to be raised because it was not done the first time correctly. So those are issues that we did face, amongst other issues of not meeting target, not meeting performance metrics. So efficiency was a big issue at the beginning, and lean, as we introduced it into the company, was a big help. And we saw a lot of changes as a result in terms of efficiency from implementing lean and getting everybody on board,
Hmm.
particularly the teams and especially the leadership.
Right. And how many teams did you onboard initially for the lean transformation? Because I think this is a very common question among just managers who are looking to implement lean. How do we start the implementation just in the very beginning? What needs to be in place? And I think the mindset here is, as you mentioned, very important. But if you could go into just a little bit more into that, how did you enroll the teams and how did you start with the lean transformation in the very beginning?
So the first part was getting people educated. And I was one of the people that had to become a black belt in lean. And I traveled to Germany for that training. So I had to be one of the people. But we also had other teams involved, and these were operational teams, imports, exports. We had the warehouse, particularly, also enrolled. So, in terms of the numbers, I would say about 8 teams were enrolled into that training as a start. And what happened is that whilst we trained the people on the ground, it was important and critical to ensure that the leadership was trained also, because oftentimes they would have to avail resources. They would have to intervene if certain team members were critical to the project, were not coming to support or not giving their best. So we looked at 8 teams. We looked at operations as a start because that's where the issues were. And we looked at individuals, specific individuals that we equipped to ensure that they became sort of experts to channel and champion this big change.
Right. And now it's, I think, really important here to get into the topic of um, convincing leadership to do that and to go into these trainings and to get the buy-in from leadership, because we always talk to consultants like yourself, but also directors in companies who might be interested in lean, but they need to even scale this further up their hierarchy and convince more and more people, C-level people and so on. So how did you perform that? How did you get the buy-in from your leadership at DHL?
That's a very good question, Nicolai. So the first thing was the CEO was critical in terms of championing this. And what happened is she was trained as well, not is in much detail as to what it would involve. It was a choice, really, but because of her plate, it was too big. There was a lot happening on the ground. But she had to understand the benefits of lean. That's number one. Number two, she also had to understand that the company was not performing as expected. And I always say this, and she resonated with this as well, even as we spoke to the teams, particularly the leadership, is when global office, as an example, wants to see how well a company is performing on a financial basis. They will look at your statements, your financial figures and statements, your P&L, and things like that. If they want to see how you're performing operationally, they look at your key performance indicators within operations. Are you meeting delivery on time? Are you invoicing on time? So from a distance of 1,000 miles away, they can tell if a company is performing or not.
Mm.
And then if that is not the case, that's when we say, okay, let's use lean. Lean can fix your problems. Literally, it can. And by celebrating successes, once we started doing those initiatives and getting people to see, particularly leadership in other departments as well that were not initially involved in that specific project, their eyes were opened. They wanted to be a part of it. So that's one way. The other way we did it is we tied bonuses and incentives to the meeting of your key performance indicators. So it affected people more on the financial basis. If you don't meet delivery on time, as an example, the customer is not happy. And as a result, you will not get your bonus in full. So whilst we did that for the team leaders, we did that for management at scale, depending on the level, we did that at an individual level as well within operations, where it affected their pocket financially. But in the end, by the time we'd finished, and as we continued, because it's a continuous journey, they were able to see for themselves that I don't need to be forced to perform or to participate in lean. It's for my benefit. And I can sleep better at night because I'm meeting my targets. Efficiency is in place. Waste has been identified, number one. It has been eradicated, number two. And it becomes a continuous journey and a living style.
Right. And I think something really interesting here is also, did you promise something to your CEO? For example, if you go through this and all these trainings, then we can expect these results from lean. Because I think there is a big struggle, not just lean, but also agile and like all of these transformations. People are wondering, how do we what do we say that we actually convince the higher level leadership? Because um, we're in 2025 and a lot of transformations have already happened. There are a bunch of companies who are disappointed from large scale transformations. So in your experience, what do you think, how do you convince, or what do you say to the C level that gets them into this mood of, all right, we really need to change, and lean is the way to go?
Yeah. Uh, Thank you for that question, Nikolai. So, whilst we promised good results, and this was the team that had been trained, that had seen it for themselves, that it works, they were also able to see from the other stations, because whenever a project was run where it was lean, they were
Mhm.
able to share the results. And that's one of the things that we promote in different organizations. Once you enroll lean, you must celebrate success. So whilst you promise the result and you deliver because it's tried and tested, you must celebrate the success, because then the other leader, the next leader, be it in a different region, in a different department, in a different country, are able to see the results from themselves. An example of a project that I led was we reduced the time of travel for shipments for a massive company that was doing mining equipment from South Africa, Johannesburg to Zambia by a total of 3 days. So that in itself was proof that it works. The
Mhm.
people on the ground were able to see it for themselves. The financials, because you're not spending as much, an extra 3 days has been cut off, speak for themselves. So, yes, we did promise, but primarily also so we shared the results, a project at a time, to say this works. Look, this is a proof of it. And that always helped.
Right. Yeah. Okay. And now I'm thinking, how do you, because you share that you enroll those 8 teams initially. So what did you do first when training them? Maybe uh, a lot of people are interested in different lean tools such as value stream mapping, maybe A3, all of these different techniques that you can use to show where what the situation is right now, what we can improve, and where we can go. And I think specifically value stream mapping as a tool is very interesting. But I'm just wondering, in your case, when you enroll the first teams, what did you do? What lean tools did you use to convince them and to really show them how lean could help?
I like that question because I was deeply involved in that. So, a few things that we did is that we started small. We started with the tools that are not as complex. Value stream is brilliant. I would promote it anytime. And it comes and it helps with complex issues. So we started with simple things like a Gemba,
Mhm.
going to the place of the crime, as they say it. Where are the issues happening? If it's in operations, going there and performing a Gemba. Gemba meaning go to the place where the issues are happening. And you find managers often want to fix problems from the office. A Gemba would then equip you to be able to say, if I go to this workplace, to sit back and watch for myself, to see where the inefficiencies are happening, to speak to the team and hear firsthand what is happening, I'm then able to identify the root causes. So we started off with Gembas by doing a Gamba within the office, within the warehouse, and saying, right, we're doing a health and safety Gamba as an example. Let's go and see where the hazards are. So we did that Gamba. And before we did that, we spoke to the leaders to say, this is what we want. We want to make sure that we have a safe environment for our people and there are no incidents. And we want to ensure that there's efficiency happening because when it's clean and clear, then you are bound to ensure accidents are removed, incidents are eradicated, and people work freely and happily. So we did a Gamba with the managers and we
Yeah.
said, right, this is one of the tools within the toolbox of lean that you can use. We also introduced what are called huddle meetings. Other companies call them performance dialogues, in which case you would look at the problem, root cause, solution. What
Hmm.
that means is you get a team together in the morning, fresh before people start, and we say, right, let's have a look at how we performed, whether it's yesterday or last week. And then you jot down the issues to say, we did not deliver on time, we did not invoice on time, we did not respond to that complaint on time. And then from there, you say, right, let's discuss as a team on our feet because we have given ourselves, as an example, 30 minutes because we are moving into a shift. What happened? So you've got a problem. We did not respond to the complaint on time, as an example, as set at the target. And then you say, let's discuss as a team what are the possible causes for that. After you do that, you look at your root causes within the same forum, depending on the complexity. You may decide, okay, we'll give you a day, but Susan or Maria or John, as an example, go and check this out and come back with information to say what is the root cause. Again, as a team, you say, let's discuss the possible solutions. So you've got a problem, root cause, and solution done within that session. And that worked. So that's another one. Another thing that we implemented and we rolled out was the 8 ways to say, let's identify and let's talk about the 8 ways. What are they? And we listed them down 1, 2, 3. And we said, right, when we're looking at transport, what is happening? Where are we seeing those wastes? And then from there, being able to work through the root cause and solution. So that's what we did. We also implemented the 5S within the warehouse. And this was a nice, quick environment for us to implement it, and it worked wonders. So those are some of the few tools that we implemented. But like I said, Lean comes with a
Right.
toolbox literally of tools that you can apply, including the value stream, which is brilliant. And this visualizes processes, enables them to identify and analyze the flow of materials and information, and also pinpointing the waste areas. So we worked through that. But we started off by training certain people within the department. Each department had colleagues that were coming to be trained so that it didn't become a charity problem or a Maria problem because she's the expert. We had experts sitting within the departments, within the stations, and working through them and identifying those issues and working with the teams.
Right. Yeah, that's really interesting, because, and also something that you mentioned regarding the office, because I think a lot of companies, when they embark on transformations, and especially lean, they're only thinking about the production line. So what's happening outside the office? And I was interested to learn more about your experience. Did you do the transformation both in the office and in what's happening outside the office?
Yes, in fact, we did. Um, so I'll give you an example of the improvement. Back to the example where we improved the travel time or the transportation, the whole process of having mining equipment moving from Johannesburg to Lusaka in Zambia. We involved the team within, which was the team within the company, number one. We also drew experts from the border because we had that relationship to say, right, we are aware that our teams are spending sometimes even 3 days at the border, and we want your expertise. Obviously, they were not there right through from start to finish, but they were present as and when we needed them within a session. We also involved the customer because we found out there were issues with the customer side in terms of the ordering system. So an order is placed, as an example, before it gets to us, it's spending 2 days on David's desk. So that adds to the time and to the different measuring systems. So we involved internal staff members, we involved external staff members. And sometimes you don't need to. It's just if it's an internal process, involves no external parties, then it's something that can be done internally. But if needed, the customer may be able to come on board. In fact, when we brought this to the customer's attention, they were so excited to say, wow, you are a lean organization. We want to be a part of this. And we want to ensure that you have the right resources. Who do you need to be part of your team? So, yes, we did.
Wow, wow, that's great. And I want to just for a bit get back to the beginning of the conversation when you said that one of the issues or one of the drivers behind this transformation was that uh, everybody was kind of missing their KPIs, and not, yeah, like not achieving their KPIs. So something that we hear a lot from customers today in Businessmap is specifically people struggling to connect strategy with execution. So we have KPIs at the top, we have some goals that we've identified, but we have all these projects going on, but they're not really moving the KPIs that we've identified on the strategic level. So I was wondering, from your experience, does lean can help with this strategic alignment, and did it help with your endeavors inside DHL to align the strategy with execution and actually make everything visible so people could work on their stuff and impact the business objectives and the business KPIs that really matter at the end of the day?
Yes, yes, I would say it definitely did help. So at the very top, we had strategy 2025 as an example, and strategy 2030. And in the strategy, we said we want to be the best organization. We want to take first place in air freight. as an air freight provider. And that was broken down to say, right, how do we become a first or take first place as, within the freight forwarding industry as a provider? And we broke it down to say, right, we need to ensure that we deliver on time.
Mm-hmm.
That's number one. We need to ensure that we include automation. The customer gets, certain notices on his phone, as an example, in the middle of the night, if he wants to, as notifications to say shipment is delivered or shipment en route. We also wanted to ensure that to become the first in the customer's eyes, we were able to invoice on time.
Right.
And further to that, we wanted to ensure that when we invoiced, we didn't have issues. We had accuracy top notch. So we did break down the strategy. I just gave you just one example, but there are multiple in terms of how did we then achieve the strategy to the operational level. And then it took the senior managers sitting down, sometimes attending those workshops. In fact, one thing I always did was when I had a workshop running, I had a sponsor, somebody from the very top office, coming to open for us 5 minutes. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to this initiative. You're very important. Thus, you are here. We want you to contribute, and we are looking to ensure that we improve our customer satisfaction in this area. And one thing I said is, in addition to that, if we fail, it's the team that we have here because we can do it and we need
Mm-hmm.
everybody hands on deck. If we succeed, by all means, it's everybody sitting around the table. So we had
Exactly.
people coming from the senior office, we had middle managers being process owners, and we had the teams fully satisfied that we've got the full support, the full backing of the CEO, or as an example, or of the operations director coming to see us. And when it was celebration time, we had the same people back. When we closed the initiatives, we had to present back as a team for Lean to say, these are the results we came up with. After these weeks of working or days or whatever it was, these are the results we've produced. So everybody was involved, and that really helped.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's a great tip that you just shared. Like having um, really bridging the gap between high level strategy and team members. And obviously, in your example, was just having a C level member going into these workshops and telling people that just making people feel involved in the environment. I think that's really important. So, can you just summarize, in your experience, what is the best, or what is the main thing that needs to be in place for such large scale lean transformation to happen, and for a big company to transform its processes and become more efficient, achieve strategic alignment, and at the end of the day, move business objectives forward in a positive manner?
Okay. All right. Thank you, Nikolai. So, first and foremost, I would say the key performance indicators have to be in place in terms
Hmm.
of where do you want to go as an organization. That has to be very clear from the beginning. Where do you want to go? Do you want to be known as being the top, whether it's in customer resolutions of issues, or the top company that delivers on time, the top company that delivers without mistakes, with the minimum, the least number of errors? That has to be clear. That's number one. Number two, it's very important to have leadership commitment. It
Yeah.
has to be clear to the organization that leadership is committed. And the thing with teams and individuals within companies, they can see through anything that is not genuine. So getting that in place, leadership helps to commit, to ensure that they commit resources as needed for the initiatives. Their commitment as well gives the teams, the individuals, the confidence to come to those meetings and to ensure that they're part of the continuous improvement in terms of their actions. So the commitment is very important. Number two, it's important to ensure that the right people are trained and educated. It's nice to say we are a lean organization, but if you don't have people trained, if
Yeah.
the people are not educated on the different principles and the skills and the tools from the toolbox of lean, then it becomes an issue. So it's important that tools are known, people are trained, and they have an appreciation of the benefits of the team and also an appreciation of when to apply what tool. Another thing that's important is involving the teams. And oftentimes you find decisions are made at the top
Right.
without the
Yeah.
team or team's involvement. Getting them on board from the beginning is critical,
Right.
as opposed to letting them know right at the end. So get the teams involved. Employees should be advised in terms of what's happening, where the company is going, why they're going in that direction. That is quite critical.
Yeah.
So those are some of the things that should be at the very top. Leadership commitment, ensuring that people are trained, involving the teams and individuals on time. And that also results in availing of resources as needed,
Yeah.
as part of the things that are critical to ensuring that this works. And you're going to have resistance of change, in any change that is going to be implemented. The question is, are you going to address it adequately and correctly? And there are tools as well that can be applied to ensure that this is taken care of from a lean perspective. So those are some of the few things that I would recommend in any organization.
Right. Perfect. All right. Thank you, Charity, so much for agreeing to do this interview with us. We really appreciate it. And we'll talk soon. Thank you.
Thank you, Nicolai. I appreciate your time too.
Thank you.